So we are Team 3, the Divine Coders, and this is our technical video for the Conductor app. So first of all, we will go over the GitHub repository, our team GitHub repository. Uh, so when first linked to our repo, there will be immediately like a README file which contains the instruction on how to run the app both on deployment and locally. And then next, since we are using GitHub as a single source of truth in managing all of like documentations, PR, and issue, we will briefly go ahead and show all of that. So first of all, we will go over issues. So since the project is already freeze and it's done, all issue has been closed right now. And I will go into an example issues just first to see how the issue will be formulated in our group. So for issue, we need to have at least like a one-line detailing of what the issue is about, and then also filling out all of these requirements on GitHub. So like who is the assignee for the issues, and what is the issue, what category is the issue falling under, and what sprint should the issue be fall in. So our group have total 3 sprint in total, and then for each issue or PR, all member required to put in the sprint. And then going to PRs. So for PRs, it will be similar to issue, but now the descriptions of the PR should be more in depth compared to the issues, particularly of how particularly that PR need to explain how this features or this issue is being solved or if implemented. And sometimes like adding picture and testing is also pretty good. And then with our CI/CD pipeline, whenever a PR is being created and wanted to merge to branch, it would go to some of like the CI test and CI/CD testing and require someone in our group to view the PR in order to merge it. And then next up will be our project. So this is the backlog of our project. You can see that like most of the issue or like all of the issue has already been solved and closed. But initially there was some issue was in progress, was in to do based on the deadline of it. And then finally, we put our high level documentation of all of the features that we implemented in our app in this wiki page of GitHub. And you can see that like if a user or if a customer wanted to know more about each features, they can go into this wiki and they can press on each which features they wanted to read more about. Yeah, and that's basically our pipeline or our setup for GitHub repo. Hi, so our second part will be the demo of the Conductor app. So we already deployed it on the site. So this is going to be our deployment website. So let me click to that. So user will first see this login page. And if you're a professor, student, and or TA, any role, your credential is already, when you log in, your credential has already been in this in the database beforehand. And in order to add the professor, because professor will be the one who's gonna log in first and create the class, adding student and TA, we need an admin to actually create a class and create and let that and adding that professor credential into that class. So for admin, you can just type in the email. The class number is not required, and when you log in, it's gonna bring you into the admin page. So in this admin page, you can create a class. You can create a class and the professor. Let me create something. Set up the professor name, right, and then the email. So I already have the email of the professor. So basically, what this means is that it's gonna create a class called CSE 101, and it's gonna add this professor into the class. So when we click create or update class, you can see that course is created or professor added. So let's say if I re-click again, it said like professor is already in the course. So in our pipeline, when we deal with this login and new user registrations or courses registrations, we decided to since we are handling multi-class level, right? Like basically a professor can be in multiple class. So what we check is that when admin created a class and a professor, we're gonna check if that class is already appeared in our backend or database, and if it is this professor credential is in this our database. If it is, then it would mean that there's a duplicate, and we don't want that, right? So that is how we the algorithm or like the pipeline that we kind of like construct for this login logic. And now let's say if I want to go back to it, so go back to the login. So instead of typing like a conventional way of email, I would do login with Google. And when you log in with Google, one of the things that we decided to do is to enter the class number because we are dealing with multi-class level. So we thought that like putting the class number here would be easier to manage. So I put CSE 101, which is the class that I just made, and then I would choose the email that I put for the professor. And you can see that like when I click that email, when I click the email, it will basically bring us into this professor page. And how do I know if I am in the right page? I can go to my profile. And then you can see here in this profile, I can see my information basically. And it seems like everything is correctly, like my name, my role, and my email, right? And so in this profile page, you can edit your information. So for example, your pronoun, he, his, and then of your public link. I would just do some metadata right now, or let me actually put a link here. Using this ECC, let's say, like I can input a link here. I would use this link and then I can save it, and when you save it, it's gonna say profile save up here, and then again similarly for the contact and availability, I can input the phone number. So and then some office hour time, right? So like Tuesday at 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. Cool. So I can save this contact and availability. So after saving it, oh, and one more thing is you can also change your profile picture, right? It's pretty boring if you just keep that common profile. So I can also add some picture here and save it. And when you save, when you go back to this, so here will be like a our basically staff professor main page of of the professor. So we're gonna have class directory, which is gonna you able to view the whole like everything of your class, all members, calendars, all of that. Team card is where you're gonna view all of the teams that's currently in this course. Evaluation journal is where you're gonna write note to student, and then the attendance where you're gonna create a course like a 6-digit code for student to edit their attendance, and then you're gonna view the stat of the attendance. So I will go first into this class directory features. So in this class directory, you can see that like right now, the first thing you're able to see is the class. And then currently there's one support staff, which is the instructor, of course. There is no teaching assistant yet and tutor yet because the instructor does not add any person in yet. So we can see that like for the instructor, you're able to see the profile being updated here. It's contain pronoun, email, phone, availability, and links. And let's say if you change anything in the pronoun, let's say if you change anything in your profile, this will be changing according to that change. Um, yeah, and in this class directory, you can also go into this class directory. You can basically search for all members and filtering out. Right now, there's nothing yet. And then similarly for calendar, you're able to view the calendar or and you to view an actual calendar and upcoming assignments basically. And for professor, there will be uh, another feature or functionality for them to add an event. So for example, I can add an event here. Let's say homework three deadline. And then just a type of assignment. And let's say if I choose a day, which is December 18th. And let's say if I save event, you're able to see that the event is being saved on this day. And then it's gonna do it 317. And then this is the detail of the day. I can close it. Yep, and I can view this. So this viewpoint will be similar for TA, student, team lead, because they are all gonna be in the same class. Okay, cool. So, how do we add student and staff into the class? So, how we added it is through this class configurations support right here. So in this class configurations, so our logic is that like a professor will have some CSV CSV files for staff and student like a roster, and then what they do is that they can just upload it on here, and when the CSV being upload, our backend logic it will read each row in the CSV and start it to basically do an insert into our database corresponding to each row. So for example, if we have a user in our schema and our row, right? So let's say for student, we will create a user with the name, email, etc. And then we can send this to student, right? We can basically get the row ID for student and then insert into that user. So here I will give a brief demo. I can go to download. I have some dummy data right here. And I can do student roster, and then I can do again staff roster. So staff roster will include TA and tutor, and student roster will just include all students. And let's say if I upload roster, you can see that like it's able to upload 4 students and 2 staff. So here it's gonna be how like a student is being demonstrated. So a student will have so like in the CSV file, you will have like an email, the name, and like a display name, right? And then similarly in here, a professor can edit the course description. So if this is a SWE class, for example, and then they can save the descriptions. And when they save, if you go back to the class directory, you're able to see that the description of the class is changed based on the description of the professor. And how do we see that our upload roster is being uploaded successfully? So we also have this group formations page is where it's dedicating for making group of students, and we can see right here we upload um, students right here. We're able to upload the students. There are 4 students, and then TA was successfully uploaded. And another way you're able to view this is going to your class directory, right? You can see like in beforehand, TA and tutor was blank, right? So I just recently uploaded these two these two into our app, and you can see that like the TA and the tutor is being added. And then if you go to class directory, you can see that all member will be shown in this case. So you can see TA, tutor, and 4 students, right? And in this class directory function, it will be there's like a search features that you can search based on name, based on role, and all of that. Cool. Alrighty. So next will be so we already had professor, we already had student into the class. So what we wanted to do now is how do we organize those students into teams and organize TA into the teams, right? To manage the team. What we can do is again, going to this group formation page. So in the very first section, you're able to see define skill and tag. So this is where professor can input the skill and the weight of the skill that he or she wanted to have for the class. So I will input some skill right here. And then for now, I just put the weight as the similar weight. Okay, and what now let's just add these three skill. And if you save skill, so the skill will be saved. And then you can view the student right now. So defaultly, all student will have like a default rating of skill 2. So like for all the skill, they all gonna have a default rating of 2 because our logic, let's say if we have a blank or a no result, it might cause some software downfall or some error. So we just put like a standardized rating points for each student, right? And then how student able to change the skill is going to the student page. So for example, I will go into like I will be going to a student, Bob student, for example. Let me log out, and then it was CSE 101, and then the student email was this. Yeah. So again, similarly, like when we go into the student, through Google login, it will take us to the student page. So student will have some similar features as an instructor. I will explain it later on. But what is interesting is that like they can go into this group formation form right here, and they will able to see the form that include all of the skill that is needed for the course. That professor has been added in, and the they can adjust the skill that they want based on the strength, right? So once they're done, they can save their skill and then go back. Okay, so now since we have the first student inserting the skill, we can do another example of a student like inserting the skill. I will paste the student here, and then just for the record, since there's a limitations on like certain number of Gmail a person can create, I just include like some members, so like for example, professor and one or two of the student, and like having a real email to show the login with Google. Most of the student and tutor and TA will have this kind of like a dummy email. So we will use this conventional way of entering the email and then class number to log in instead of logging with Google. So again, this is the second student dashboard right here, and then I will quickly. So we have max score for this already. So all skill are being saved. Okay, so we can go back to the instructor page, right? We can go back to the instructor page to see the updated skill input by these two students. The other student we can set at a default score. That would be good. Okay, you will see that like I modify these two students, and you can see the score is being modified to 444 and 1413 instead of default 2 already. Cool. So uh so then in order to create group, we have like two different methods. So the first method will be the randomized method. So this method will base purely upon like random generations of a group of people, right? And then for smart generate, this smart generate will be generating group based on the size of the group and based on the skill level of each member. So for example, it will try to balance all member with different skill, all member with like different strength of skill. So for example, let's say if a student is already strong in that group, then the next person that will be put in that group will have the skill that is not as strong. Not as strong in order to balance out the group performance, right? So right here, since we have 4 people, 4 students in total, we can take like each group of a group of 2. So like there will be 2 group in total, right? So we can do smart generations. So you can see here, we have this group and we have this group, and then for randomize, we can also do this will randomize the students, and then like you can see 2 people is in team 1 and 2 people is in team 2, and again, smart generate will give us this. Yep, that's basically it. And then for here, uh, let's show you the team, the role, and the TA. And in the team, you're able to choose which team, if like for further like human or manual creation, manual like modification, you can do it if a professor wanted. Or let's say if you want to switch the student to this group, for example. And then also you're able to change a member of a group to a team lead or not. So I just have one team lead for each group. And then since we have one TA, we're gonna assign the TA for these 2 groups. And then when we save the group, so now group is being saved. So now we have 2 teams, right? Um, let's go back to our dashboard. So in order to see the team, we can go into this team card page, and you're able to see that like there are 2 teams now, team 1 and team 2, and I believe there's also yes, okay, and there's team 1 and team 2. And when you click onto this card info, right now the team does not have any info yet, and only the team leaders able to edit and update this information of the team. So this is our evaluation journal page. So basically, it's a way for staff and team lead to comment a student progress based on a certain week, and they can create a new evaluation note to the student and view the past note record of the student. So for example, if I enter any student, it will show all the student in this filter page, and then you can see like for student Carol, there is already some evaluation note being logged before. So I would do another week like week 2, and then like if I enter some sentimental score, and then this will basically create a new evaluation journal to the students, and staff and team lead able to press on the past record to see the detail of this. So how the student able to basically see the evaluation made by staff or leaders is that they can go into this weekly evaluations, and then they can choose which week they wanted to see. So let's say for example, which one they would see this they will see the professor evaluation for them. So similar to the evaluation journal where staff and team lead able to write note to student, we also have the reverse, and it's gonna be done through the work journal in the student dashboard. So I will open this work journal. So this work journal will basically be a very simple form of containing like student basically inputting on what are they working on and how are they feel. So I would put in some work and then a mood, right? And then they can also reach out to the team lead or the staff. I would reach out to the professor, for example, and then writing some note to the in order to reach out. And then we also have these two functions, the public and private. So for public, if this form, if a work journal form is public, team lead will able to see it. And if it's private, only TA and professor gonna see this. So right now I will make this a public, and I will instead just add this public one-on-one meeting. And then when I submit the journal, and then again, let's say if I make another one but private, so and then work, and then uh, okay. And then let's say if I did not reach out to anyone, but I put it to private. So this means that like TA and professor able to see this private message, but team leads will unable to see this. I will submit again. And when we click this work journal, you this past work journal, it will show like the past journal that the student is had already filled in. So for example, for 18, it was current previously input work journal, and you're able to see like a lot of like some of the status that the student has filled in. And then so let me go to the team lead or the professor in this case. Um, or So when I go to this, the professor make a stat page. So how the professor and the team lead able to see the student work journal is they're gonna go into the evaluation journal again, and you're able to see that right here. There are two new messages. So in this work journal dashboard or sections, staff and team lead will able to see new journals or basically recent submitted journal by the student, and it will be show in the new page. So it's gonna be similar to like our normal email app, right? And then let's say you would like remember there was one work journal that was explicitly mentioned the professor, right? So which basically like let's say if you mention professor in professor, and if that work journal mentioned you, there will be some highlight alert format to inform that this message might have a higher priority, or basically like might want to have your attention more than others, right? So for example, and you're able to view the message right here, and then so you're able to see the reach out message, a public one-on-one meeting, and then let's say if you've done reading this, you can archive this. So this will go into this archive section right here. And then again, so since this one will be the private one, right? You're able to see this is private for network. So and it's not the student does not reach out to anyone. So there will be no mention here. And then now we're gonna briefly go into the how teams able to manage their GitHub issue or GitHub log. So this is basically every member able to have the team task tracker if you're a student or a team lead. And in this team task tracker, it will basically sync the GitHub config, your like the GitHub repo of the project. So I'm gonna use our group conductor app repo for demonstration. So how we're gonna connect to it? We're gonna need a personal tokens, which is basically you can create it. You can create one in the GitHub setting tokens right here. And then you can enter the organization name. So in this case, this is our name and project number, and then you can connect. So when you connect the thing, it will show you that this has been connected. And then when you save this, it will save the GitHub sync credential. And let's say if you want to sync this, it will sync the project log out into this. So you're able to see that like these are like actually our GitHub issue right here. And then of course like we can move stuff over. Let's say if I want to make this evaluation rubric back to in progress, and I can update it, update this. um, it's gonna take a minute for an update to finish. And then when the update is finished, you're gonna I will quickly go to the GitHub. You can see that like evaluation rubrics, it was initially in done, now it's in progress because we changed it into in progress in here. So that's how we kind of like managing the issue and the task within this app also, within the app. So we also finished that. So next, we're gonna go to attendance. So attendance is gonna be one of the critical features, right? So for a student, how they're gonna submit the attendance is through this submit attendance sidebar right here. So right now there is no sessions, and there will be two main attendance for a student, for every student, which is class meeting, which is lecture, and where they're gonna enter a random code from professor, and then team meeting, which is a team meetings for like a team meetings for the teams, which will be generated by the team leader. Since we're on the team leader profile right now, we can generate a code right here. So let me copy this code. And then the code had like a duration for 10 minutes. And then so you're able to see that like this is sessions being created when the code is being when team lead generate the code. So as a team lead, I'm able to basically say that like I'm present. But let me go to one of the team members here. Use it conventional method. So in our team, again, we're able to see submit attendance right here. And you see that there's a session that's being absent, which is in the team meeting, right? Which is the meeting that the code that team lead just recently published. So when I click to that, team meeting is present. So similarly, if I go to the professor and in professor, he will be able to generate the code for class meeting, right? So right now there is no student there's no student basically submitting the code. So the current thing will be it's failing to load any student because there's no student yet. So I will copy that code and then going to a particular student right here. And then going to submit attendance again. So now you're able to see on this class meeting sections, a section for the lecture is being created. And if I enter that code in, you are marked as present. So this is marked present. And when I go into this view attendance, so every member able to see view attendance basically. And this basically is going to be a graph of basically a graph for attendance. So basically like statistic of attendance. So basically if it's team meeting, basically a student able to see that like how many what are the team meetings attendance record look like, and then similarly what is the class meeting attendance record look like. So already, so we finished talking about attendance and also attendance statistic. Then we can go. So next we will be discussing on the teams meeting and tasks. Basically minor features right here. So this is the features where team members able to see if there are any team meetings going on or any meeting that the team leader wanted to meet individually. For example, so since I am a student right here, I cannot see there's no meeting yet, and I cannot make any meeting because I am not a team lead. So I will go into the team lead dashboard. And accessing this team meeting and quick team meeting test. So this is the view of team leaders. They can let's say like sprint meeting, and then they can enter some type of meetings, and then some time, and then they can reach out to the whole team, for example here, and then they can say team meeting interrupted, right? And then they can add an event. When you add an event, you can see that the sprint meeting will be logged right here. And let's say if I go to the student was team one. And if they go into this meeting, the student will able to see there is one meeting coming up at 12:15 already. So we finished the attendance logic and also the team meeting task logic between students and team lead. So now we will be briefly going over the TA dashboard. So this is going to be our TA informations for the CS 101 course, right? So in TA dashboards, it will be kind of similar to Professor, and but have basically more limited features of the Professor. So it's gonna still have class directory where TA able to see all of the basically the directory of the class, and then the team base, which is all the team that the TA is responsible for. So and then also evaluation journal, which is the journal that TA can write to students, similar to leaders and similar to leaders or professor. And then finally, the submit attendance, because TA also need to attend some meetings or lecture also. But for TA attendance, it will be much more simpler than students, so that like for TA, they can just enter for each week, right? They can enter if they go into the class lecture, if they go to the group meeting, which is basically like one-on-one meeting with the leaders, if they have office hour they held there during that week, and then they can save the attendance. And when they save it, they're like we will basically do a simple log for them to see each week what is their attendance record. So this is more like a personal base or more instead of like someone actually giving you the code. Because for TA, we think like they're the staff, right? So they don't really need to have the code in order to attend all of these. Uh, and then similarly for TA, they're able to choose which team they wanted to see the meetings of that team, because since there's like a lot of teams, right? TA and professor needed to filter out the teams that they wanted to see. Okay, so finally, we have finished it, professor, student, team lead, and TA. So our last user role will be the tutor, right? So I will go into the tutor dashboard. So tutor will be even more simpler than TA, where the tutor will only have two different two different features, which is the ticket queue and the FAQ board. So for tutor, they can basically modify the FAQ based on themselves, based on their own. So they have the authority to do this. So FAQ is just gonna be like a list of frequent answer questions, right? So that student have to look at this first before submitting the ticket. So I will write some text first, and it will save, and then um, here I'm just creating some example FAQ text. And then when you click into this FAQ, the answer of the question of this each of the topic come out. And then ticket queue is pretty simple. It's gonna be the queue representations of student tickets. So if there's any open ticket or if there's any open ticket that the tutor needed to see. So right now there's zero because none of the student is having ticket yet. So we're gonna do that, creating a ticket. Let me go into the student. So how student able to interact with the tutor is submitting ticket, and we're gonna do that in this tab right here, submit tutor ticket. And initially, you can see that like all input field is unable to input because they need to be reviewed for the FAQ first. Because if FAQ able to answer the questions, then they don't like they will not input the ticket for nothing, right? So after they view the FAQ and they seems like they still want to reach out to the tutor, they can. So we choose the tutor. Since we only have one tutor here, so this is only our option. And then we can type like. mm, yeah, need help. So this is going to be ticket title and then the question. So once when we're done, we can submit a ticket and then we can view our ticket right here. So we can view our current open ticket. When we click onto this ticket, what we're going to see is we're going to see the informations and the current and if the tutor is responding to this ticket or yet. And then this conversation will be kind of like a conversation between tutor and student. And then once the ticket is being done, they can mark at resolve. And when student mark this ticket at resolve, the current open tickets sidebar will not have this ticket anymore. So since there's a ticket, right, we can go back to the uh, page and look at the queue right here. So now we're able to see that in our queue, there is one open ticket and made by student Carol, right? So how the TA able to answer this question is they can just type in the reply, what do you need help? And then they can send. When they send, it will go into this conversation like chat box or dialogue for the between the student and the TA. And if I go back to the TA, the student, and go into the submit ticket. Oh, my bad. And so now you're able to see that like when the ticket is being when the tutor answers something, you will see like a red noted that oh it's similar to like a message, right? So if someone has messaged you, look at it. So are you able to see the professor the tutor messages to you and then you can answer something like thanks for your help. Then able to send. And when you send, it will send to the professor or the tutor this message. And then if you think you're done with this, you can mark as resolved. So this will delete the current open ticket, basically it's like our queue right now. So this ticket has been resolved. And if I go back to the tutor, um, go into this ticket queue right here, you're able to see that like in the open ticket, there will be no more ticket because that student just closed the ticket together. And when you go into this ticket, you're able to see that the student the student reply back. Yes, so that's basically all for the interaction pipeline between student and tutors. All right. So finally, I will basically go briefly over our code base before the CI/CD introductions. So then this is gonna be how how our code is being organized. So first of all, we have some hierarchy between backend, front end, and DB. And in backend, we're gonna have a main server.js code script with a file script which gonna basically include every single route between front end and backend. And then also we're gonna have this DB backend code that will contain all like it basically gonna initialize any front end that needed to use our DB and then connecting with that. And then so for example, like for class directory, right, it will be involving in of like the insert, the select when you wanna output or you wanna print out the informations that of the user, the information of the user, or even the event that you created on the class directory. So that's the gist of the backend, and then we also have a schema SQL file that can where we can easily like insert into our database if we want to have some dummy data. So for example, right here, so this is one of the example where we inserting some dummy data right here. So some of the major column would be user, right? So like what it will log in the user into the current database of our app. So we're gonna so each user will have the name, the email, and some ID. And then next will be the role, which will include the 5 traditional role that we have, 5 or 6, including team lead, and then also the courses, and then the course membership, which is where you connect between each user to a course. And then finally, to our front end, we kind of follow like a very traditional front end design where we have a page directory, and inside of that, it will have every single features front end that is being developed to our app. So, for example, we're going to have a dashboard, which is like a main dashboard landing page for all user, right? And then we're going to have, for example, a group formations where professor can click to that, and then there's like professor can basically make up the groups, and then student team card is like where the student able to view the team card of themselves. So yes, so this is basically a organizations of our infrastructure and our code base.
Hi, this is Bobby, and from Team 3. Today I want to give a high-level go through the CSE pipeline and the cloud deployment for our team. And so here is the deployment on AWS. Here are all the services we use. The RDS is where we hold our Postgres database, and the Elastic Beanstalk is our code leaves. It's gonna help us to deploy and accessible on the internet. And all those IAM, VPC, Route 53 ACMs are basically supplement service we use to either give them the permissions or make it like able to be accessed through HTTPS. And the CloudWatch is for logging for all the errors that happens in the deployment. And here I can see the request flow is when the user search, a customer domain. Our domain is conductor Bobby Drew app. Then you're gonna manage this customer domain is managed by route 53, and then which can route incoming HTTPS traffic to the Elastic Beanstalk environment. And once we're in the EB, then it will talk to whenever user click, class configuration or everything that interact with database, then the EB gonna talk to RDS to either insert the data or get data out. And both of them are secured under a same VPC. So in this case, they are more easily access to each other's, and RDS is not exposed in public; it's private only, and they only take inbound networks from the same the security group that Elastic Beanstalk leads. And here are all the permissions, which I am give the EB to bring up all the service in the background, like S3s, EC2s for EB to run. And the EB also send the logs to the CloudWatch here. And here is our full CI/CD pipelines. And for the CI, you're gonna check multiple things. First, you're gonna install the dependency for front and backends. And for the backend, you can run linking, JS doc. And then for front end is front linting and the CPress. And then once the CI, all of them CI is success, then the CD will start. The CD gonna get a temporary tokens from AWS and then connect to it. So you'll be able, after it zips everything from the current mean branch and then as a zip, and then can upload it to the Elastic Beanstalk, and then the Beanstalk gonna take it to deploy as the latest versions. And here's how we make config to make GitHub action with Beanstalk. Basically, we have a role on IAMs on AWS, which has a permission to a full permission to the AWS Elastic Beanstalk. So that's why the code will be able to push to Beanstalk, and it's configured to only allow for the conductor app. So that's basically our setup for the CI/CD and AWS.